go live. Should we go live?
Yeah,
I think
let's do that. Yeah.
Let's make it happen. 3, 2, 1. Good afternoon. It's Friday again.
Hello.
And here we are with Storm Kieran having hit the UK in various places. Our internet's been incredibly slow this morning, so I have no idea.
Shall we meet Kieran in the Irish pub after the live stream?
That's a really cute name. I don't know who decides the names of our storms, but anyway, I mean, lovely name for a storm, but very destructive. The poor people on Guernsey and Jersey, I think, were hit the toughest. I really hope wherever you are, you didn't have major damage. We were relatively unscathed. A few of the locals in our area, their garden furniture landed in other people's gardens.
Oh.
But
the French decided to go for a stroll, you know.
For a little stroll around the corner. Yeah. But aside from that, we were okay. So hope you all are too. For our overseas folks whose clocks haven't gone back yet, our clocks went back last weekend. So I think within the next week or so, yours will also go back and then we'll all be on the same time again. Sort of,
yeah.
With the time difference. Yeah, we're not wearing our hats today, Roy. It's actually very warm in the shop.
Yeah, the heating is up and running, but we just decided that it's November already. Yeah, it's a countdown to Christmas. Well, for you folks, it's probably in the United States is a Thanksgiving, and obviously there's Black Friday is coming up. But
Royal Blue Friday for those who are paying attention to Grace.
Exactly. So, so we decided just, have a nice warm brew, talk Nikon thing. So if you have any Nikon questions, do let us know. We want to know what you've been up to. Have you done any photography recently, and what equipment did you use and what you photographed?
Yeah. Adrian, thank you very much for your contribution to the Coffee Fund. Super appreciated. Also, last week we had some Coffee Fund contributions at the Roadshow from Alan Knott. Thank you, Alan.
Thank you, Alan.
And Richard Brown. Thank you very
Richard.
Much. Sam said, yes, we love it being pitch black at 4 p.m. Said no one ever. Yes. My other half gets up at 5 o'clock in the morning and now doesn't see daylight because he gets home late. He leaves early, doesn't see the sun all day.
I think the only thing I don't like about Britain is this thing from October till about mid-March or April. From 3 o'clock it's dark.
It's not mid-March. It's usually March time, because then you get spring.
I mean, the good news is winter solstice is on 21st, 22nd of December?
That's correct.
And after that, it's going to get better.
Yes.
The days are going to become longer again. So
we just have to wait for the 21st of December. Anyway, so
it's Christmas soon. Yeah, it's pretty much.
It's all right, just around the corner. Martin says, hi from Guernsey. Could have been worse. Got a couple of nice images after it started to calm down. I was going to say, stormy weather, etc. Aside, it is starting to be autumn colour photography sort of weather. On days when the sky gets a little bluer and you've got all the lovely turning leaves, we get proper autumn here in England.
Those rare days.
It's absolutely stunning. And then I suppose on the storm times, if you've got a nice red filter and some black and white film, and you get a very dramatic clouds,
That's true.
Yeah. So
and I'm just thinking about the deep black and white monochrome mode on Nikon ZF.
Yeah, it looks really good. Actually, clouds come up great on that one. So we took the ZF last week, as we said, to the beach. We've got the Z8 here as well. So if anyone has any questions on those, we can answer that. I saw an early question about this cable release thing. No, you cannot use a mechanical cable.
Yeah.
Sorry. The hole is actually, just the hole inside this is not big enough. So it doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's for a soft shutter release, an AR11.
Well, we actually had a DF next to ZF. And DF actually has a bigger hole in the shutter release button. So actually the cable, when you press it, that little needle that comes out is actually pushed through. So if someone feels adventurous and they can drill a tiny hole to make this hole bigger in the bottom. Maybe you can try and tell us if it works or not. But
don't try this at home.
You will void your warranty, so probably don't try it at home.
So maybe skip it.
Yeah.
The answer to you, David, is yes. At least over here in the UK, with the purchase of a ZF between now and the 30th of November, you get a free small rig grip. So the grips, unfortunately, with the first no, sorry. With the first batch, we got all the grips to go with the cameras. Second batch, we only got a handful of grips to go with the cameras. So the grips are going to follow on. For people who have bought a ZF from us and are waiting, your grips will follow on in the post. And that's going to run for anyone who orders between essentially now and the 30th of November, which is nice. So mine should come with a free grip, which I need. I feel like I need it for this camera. Although the more I use it, the more I kind of get used to holding it with that shallow grip. But I do prefer the chunkier grip on there.
I had about a week with it.
Yeah.
It was
you
fine.
already got yours.
Yeah, it was fine.
It was fine.
Missing grip at all.
Official statement.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right, camera.
Yeah.
Could be worse.
John says we should ask Rishi to drill the hole because he likes customizing.
Well, he brushed his camera up already. Yeah,
he said he likes customizing his cameras, so we could ask.
So it's going to be patina inside.
That's right. Thank you to Jay, who said enjoy a nice coffee or whatever else you choose to drink. Thank you so much. It is still, I think, technically pumpkin spice season. It will be right up until we get toffee nut, candy cane, whatever else.
I don't do any of those.
You don't
mixed
do any of
pie.
Yeah.
And brandy butter. That is the stuff. You know.
Ooh, it's becoming that kind of season, isn't it?
That's right. Keep pigs in a blanket, but give me the brandy butter any day.
Blankets are awesome. I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, and thank you to Henry for your contribution to the Coffee Fund, who said keep up the great work.
Thank you.
Colin Murphy also pointed out you get a battery charger as well. Yeah, so that's a Graze promotion. That isn't a Nikon promotion. But if you pre-ordered the ZF up to, well, actually, no, we've ended that promotion. It was up to the end of October. Then you've got a free. So anyone who's pre-ordered basically up to now will get a charger and a memory card as well to go with it.
But if you buy ZF and you can have 10% off Voigtlander lenses.
That's
native Z mount.
right.
Yeah. So if you bought together. So that's actually really good because those Voigtlander lenses, I think they were secretly designed for this particular camera.
They kind of feel like they were.
Yeah.
Now, Uwe asked a question, then retracted it, but was asking a question about the 40mm. We were talking right before the stream about the 40mm 1.2. It's a 1.2, isn't it? The
F2.
Z?
Oh, the Voigtlander.
Yes.
The Voigtlander is 1.2 and the Nikon one is F2. Yeah.
So I'm very much looking forward to trying the Voigtlander, for those who want us to pronounce it correctly, on this camera to see what it looks like. We've used this camera with the 28 and the 40, and it is lovely. I mean, say what you will about the little chrome bit of aesthetic.
I think it works.
It works so well, doesn't it? It works so well on this camera.
Well, I want to get 40, but I do want to get a special edition one. Definitely. The modern one is nice. I mean, it's technically the same lens.
It's identical.
But if you're going for the looks,
but
no,
if
it's just
vain,
matches nicely.
no,
exactly. Yeah,
it is. It just does work really nicely on the ZF, I think.
But I really like the 41-2 Voigtlander lens as well. Mm-hmm. And I've been playing with some Leica lenses on ZF, and the focusing is really good because we have now face recognition, and I've assigned my zoom in button, just you press OK, it goes straight to 100%. It's so easy to focus.
Yeah, I think I'm going to change. So someone came into the shop the other day and actually said that they use the record button as their zoom into 100%. And I actually really like that idea.
Yeah.
I think I might do that because obviously you customized my camera when we were out shooting my Z6 so that now the OK button is set to zoom in, and then the toggle,
the joystick,
joystick, when you push it, is set to reset the focus point. And this one doesn't have a joystick, so then you sacrifice one of the other things. So I think I'm going to use the record button to do that zoom into 100%.
Mine is set to in stills mode for ISO, and it's the only way to toggle automatic ISO on and off.
Right.
Because I do like to use my manual ISO on the knobs, but when I don't have time, I just stick it to auto, and I can always then switch it by pressing record button. And then because I'm touching the front button all the time, the way I hold it, I turned it off originally. Now it is set to reset the focusing point to the middle. So that way, it doesn't matter if I press it or not.
Smart.
It doesn't do anything, but it keeps the focusing point in the middle all the time.
That is very clever. If there is anyone from Nikon listening, please file this as a very important piece of information. We need a firmware update where The custom option on the ISO dial will allow you to have auto ISO, but then when you take it off custom, it switches to manual ISO. Because at the moment, if you set the camera in the menu to auto ISO, doesn't matter what you do with this dial, it does nothing.
Yeah.
So please, I beg of you, I'm going to send letters to people begging them for that in a firmware update.
I mean, I assume Nikon has some sort of logic behind it, but it's illogical to us.
Yeah.
So
me at least.
Yeah. Or if you can have some sort of set in the menu of behavior, do you want the ISO dial behave this way? Choose option 1.
Yeah.
If you want the other way, choose option 2.
Yeah.
That would be great because this is actually a software thing.
Yeah.
It's not a hardware thing as far as like I feel. Could
be under like controls, ISO dial, custom settings menu. We have a couple of questions. Jay says, do you know if the ZF-1 grip is available on eBay? I know that Nikon is only selling it in Japan. Don't know.
People probably would buy it from Nikon Direct Japan and then resell it on eBay. So right. I expect this to happen. I personally would wait a couple months because whoever starts to sell them first, they're going to probably ask for a lot of money. And then the more sellers online will be, then probably the prices will kind of, cool down a little bit. At least you will pay, hopefully, not much more that you would pay directly if you would be in Japan.
Correct. Steve received his Voigtlander 40mm 1.2 a couple of days ago and said it's gorgeous. Robert Gillespie said the same thing, said it's amazing.
It's nice lens.
So, yeah, so tempting. See, they're selling us on this lens, and we've used it.
Yeah. But there's also 50 f1.
There is also 50 f1, which is heavy, but...
Yeah.
Oh man, that's such a tough choice. I really enjoy, I think the 41.2 and the 50 f1 of all the Voigtlander lenses that we've used, those two I've had the most fun with. Yeah. And the 65 macro, while beautiful, for me wasn't the right answer just because stunning
sharp
lens.
It's
but for me it was like I'm a macro photographer. I mean, I just thought this is not the right lens for me. But for general purpose photography, it's definitely a sort of toss up between those two. There was someone else. Okay, so Jonathan said, I saw that you can close the shutter to protect the sensor when changing lenses. You cannot do that in the ZF, just to correct your comment there, I'm afraid. Nor can you do it in the ZFC. Sadly, the only cameras you can do that with, Jonathan, at the moment are the Z8 and the Z9. So this camera is off. I'm going to do this just for your sakes. There is your sensor. There is no shutter guard in there. And that is because if you can hear that, that's the image stabilization unit moving. And for some reason, because that whole module was redesigned, they couldn't then also design a shutter guard. Alas, it's a shame, but such is life.
Yeah, I agree with you. Obviously, if you're somewhere on the seaside or in the desert, maybe when you change the lenses, keep the camera facing down or away from the wind, make sure it's off, because electrostatic or electromagnetic fields, whatever, attract dust. So, just kind of be cautious about this. Camera like Z8 doesn't have that issue because you have built-in guard. Like this.
Yes, like that. Exactly. Got a couple of questions which could be very useful. So I'm going to answer these. So Richard said, if auto ISO is set to on in the menu, is the dial setting then the lowest value that it will use? No, it doesn't make any difference. Essentially, if you've got auto ISO on, it doesn't matter where this wheel is. It doesn't affect auto ISO. Yeah. You still need to set your, if you've got like a maximum, minimum ISO, you still need to set that in the menu. To answer David, where in the menu did you turn off the function button? It's in custom control assignment.
Custom controls. So there's a custom controls for video and custom controls for shooting. So, stills. So if you go to shooting stills, that's where you set it up.
So you've got your little, you're not going to be able to see this, pencil icon. And then you go down to F, which is controls. And then you go down to custom control shooting, which is F2.
F2 function. Okay.
And then down there, you've got the first one is function button, FN button. And on this one, we've got it set to off. This is the shops one. So have a look at that. You can also customize all your other buttons. You'll actually be quite amazed at how much customization. There's 2 layers of customization. There's push the button or push the button and twiddle the dial. So there's two sort of sets of customization for each button. Colin wants to know what the difference is between the two grips.
Well, the small rig one you can check on the small rig website. The other one, I'm gonna send you a link to the Japanese page, so the Nikon's page.
We'll put it in the chat and then you can have a look.
Yeah.
We did try to order it, didn't we?
You can't. Yeah, you can order it. Well, you can place it in a basket on Nikon Direct Japan website.
Yeah.
And then basically it doesn't go anywhere because they don't deliver anywhere but Japan, basically.
That's right. So we'll pop that in there in a moment. Ian asks when the next issue of Nikon Owner magazine is out. So Nikon Owner is quarterly. Our last issue came out, I'm thinking now it was beginning of October, end of September. So it should be before Christmas, deliveries, etc. permitting, but it might have been more recent than that. No, I think it was beginning of October. So it'll be after Christmas. I consider quite a fun article in there. So hopefully you'll enjoy that when that comes. If you are not already a subscriber and would like to be, we do an electronic subscription and we do a physical magazine subscription. You can choose which one you want. Obviously, because of postage, the physical one is a little bit more expensive and printing. But the online subscription, both of them give you access to all the magazines we've been publishing. Nikon Owner is now over 20 years in publication. So there's a lot of issues to read there, keep you very, very busy. But there's other things as well, like all the courses and workshops that we offer as part of that. And probably in the new year, I may have some exciting news to add to that about the courses and workshops, but I will keep it under my hat for now. Little teaser for you there.
Interesting.
In the meantime, thank you very much to Richard for your contribution to the coffee fund. Matt asks what others have set their function button to. So like you, Matt, mine is focus select mode. So when I push that button, then I have the front wheel to go between AFS, AFC, manual focus, and the back wheel to do the number of points. It's the other way around. It's the other way around. Front wheel number of points and back wheel AFS, AFC, and manual, I believe. But anyway, that's what I use that one for. So as great as I think that idea is to reset your focus point with that one, I think what I'm going to do with mine is just going to have to press the magnification button twice to zoom into 100%.
Yeah, I do like the 100%.
I know.
It just saves time, but yeah, everyone is different. I agree.
It's, yeah.
What we both agree on is that like ZF needs more function buttons.
Yeah, we'd love an extra button here or there.
Definitely.
I mean, just one, two. If they had a PV button, you know, the equivalent of where the depth of field preview button used to be, which is here. I assume the reason they didn't do that was because they didn't do it on the ZFC.
Yeah, but then Z6 and Z7 has it.
Yeah. Or if they put the autofocus, manual focus thing here, like they used to on the previous cameras, like on the DF.
Like on the DF, yeah. You got autofocus, manual focus switch, and then if you push the button, then you can set it to either AFS or AFC.
Yeah, exactly. Jay set his function button to switch between FX and DX. I had that for a while, but I just found I wasn't really using it.
You know what my problem with this is? I can accidentally set it to DX and forget.
Yeah.
And we've done it.
We've done it.
We've done it. Yeah, we've shot half of the day in DX crop mode.
That's right. And then gone, oh, oops.
There were some dark days back in the day.
That's right. Let's start from the beginning and reshoot everything. Thank you to Jean for your contribution to the coffee fund. I hope I didn't miss anyone else. I
think we may have. Did we miss Richard?
Yes, I don't remember. Sorry if we did miss Richard. My apologies.
And Henry?
Henry, I think we got Henry.
Fantastic.
Yes, we did. Thank you very much all.
Thank you, everyone.
Chris says, if you set auto ISO max ISO at 1600, you can override the max ISO by using the top dial. So I'm going to check that right now.
Okay.
I'm going to read another comment while I do that.
Okay.
I'm going to verify. You have to read some comments there.
Okay, yeah, I better look into those. Okay, so yes, so we got the switch from FX to DX. Yeah, I mean it's useful. I agree, and especially I guess if you're a wildlife photographer, this is good because it gives you kind of extra magnification effectively. It's not to say that you can actually crop your image in the post later on, but for people who are trying to get everything in camera, that would be quite useful. Another thing we tried yesterday as well was pixel shift functionality on this camera.
Catherine, don't leave that there because it will go horrible. Just call him.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's for you.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Just leave it there. So that's okay. So you're correct. 1600 ISO. I set the limit, the top limit, to 1600 ISO. And then if you go above 1600 here, let's say to 2000, then it does actually override it if it needs to.
So there is a logic to the madness.
Sort of. Yeah, there is sort of a logic to the madness. So if, for example, in my case, I don't want it to go as high as it's shooting,
Yeah.
then I can't force it to go lower than it's shooting by manually overriding it on the
True.
top tile. Okay, that's really good to know, though. Every day's a school day. Yes, Seth, we are actually live. Sorry you missed us. We are an hour later for you, but no, normal for everyone else.
We are out of sync with the United States.
We are.
Yeah.
It's great. It's very, very sad. We are looking forward to seeing Seth at the end of the month with Joe McNally here in the UK. It's going to be so exciting.
Amazing stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
Cannot wait. Okay, so thank you to Ian for your contribution to the coffee fund. David wants no more buttons.
No more.
He wants no more buttons. Absolutely not.
Well, they've delivered. There are no more buttons.
There are no more buttons just for
That's
you,
it,
David.
yeah.
So if they do a ZF2 in like 5 years' time, we realised that the DF came out 10 years ago, almost to the day.
That's right. What was it, 5th of November or something? No, 13th of November, 21st of November. Anyway, November 2013.
Yes.
10 years ago.
Yeah,
And now we have this.
that's right. So we haven't had that many vintage retro style cameras. The ZFC obviously came out a couple of years ago now.
Yes.
Is that 2 years ago, the ZFC?
Probably.
We're going to do our year in review and then we'll remember all these things and we'll go, wow, this is what came out this year. This year has just flown by.
I mean, there was a time where we had release every week,
Yeah,
you know,
There was.
recently, and also around Z8 release as well.
that's right. It's been kind of quite a busy year.
Amazing, yeah.
Roy says there's never enough buttons. I'm inclined to agree with you.
Camera should come with a keyboard, full on 88 keys or how many keys are there, keyboard, you know.
Yeah, exactly. On the other side of the screen.
Yes.
On the back of the screen. Okay. Thank you.
There you go.
That says for Jill. That's not for me.
Thank you.
Okay, good.
Thank you, Chenga.
This is why I was looking at my coffee and going, this is not the right order. Never mind. It looks like it's the wrong cup is what it is. So
That's why I always make my own.
that's right. No one can ever get it wrong. John says, is it better to shoot an FX camera in DX crop mode or crop in post? What are your thoughts?
No difference whatsoever if you're going to crop.
If you're going to crop, it's going to be crop.
Yeah, that's the thing. From personal preference, I never use crop modes. I even, let's say, in the good old days when we had like 5:4 ratio, you know, like on ZF we have 1:1 ratio and 16:9 ratio on top of the full frame standard. So even in the good old days, like I try to use 5:4 because that's kind of for publications, you know, when you shoot for the magazines. I still would prefer to shoot with a full resolution and then crop to the printing size that I needed.
Ditto.
So yeah, and in terms of this, I don't see why wouldn't I just crop for DX crop in the post later on. It doesn't take much time, that's the thing. But everyone is different, so I would say if you feel like you want to use DX crop, it's absolutely fine.
Yeah. Some people like to compose in the crop mode that they're going to see the final picture in. They want that. And we had that whole kind of talk about the fact that when higher resolution cameras came out, like the D800, it was sort of like you got two cameras in one because you can shoot in DX crop mode. And then there were people that would still buy the D500 because they wanted a second camera, like alongside the D850 or whatever, even though essentially you're getting the same thing. But
well, that's why there's a whole debate on Z90.
Yeah.
You know, because technically, yes, why not to use Z8 and the DX crop? But obviously the price comes into the place, etc. So it seems like, that's the reason why we do need the kind of a flagship DX camera, which would be cheaper than a Z8. you know, in a way.
Yeah. Paul said buttons along the lens like a flute. And Roy was saying an attached keyboard and a monitor to the camera. So there is already so much customization in these cameras. That's what's wild. And yet we still find something.
They should have a Christmas mode, you know, where things light up independently.
That's
you know.
right. Doesn't have RGB. That's the problem.
That's right. If it doesn't have RGB, it's not good enough. It's as simple as that. If you ever bought PC, you know what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
Sarcasm. Yeah.
At least they didn't throw it all over your laptop. Yes, thank you, Sash. That's on the coffee.
Yeah, and it's not a good keyboard unless it's a mechanical keyboard.
No,
Here it is. I said
mechanical.
it. You know, it's got to be. You know, then you have to spend days and months choosing the right switches for your keyboard. I mean, there's whole science to it.
There really is. It's worrying, but yeah. Yota just bought a mint black DF last week. Nice. I mean, I'd love to see the DFs have never been sort of in wide circulation in the secondhand market. I don't think we've seen lots of them over the years. I think people have tended to hang on to them.
You know, we just bought in a brand new one. Yeah. It hasn't been used.
Oh. Wow. So that will go on the website at some point. Keep your eyes peeled for that one.
And it's a black one, which is the best of the two.
I liked the chrome one personally, but when I look at it now, I prefer the black one.
It's the finish.
Yeah,
the chrome finish wasn't great. It felt plasticky. Well, the black one feels metal. I don't know what it is. Like looking, you know, at the cameras now. Like, let's say if Nikon ever release a silver ZF, and I'm sure they will, I'm sure the finish is going to look much better than on DF.
Yeah, I think so too. You know? I think that they will have. I mean, even the ZFC chrome is a little bit better than the DF chrome was.
Still not great though.
Yeah, it's still as you say, it's still not perfect.
Not premium, let's say that. Yeah.
Dave Walker said it would be nice if Z8 RAW thumbnails became visible on Apple iOS sometime soon. Yeah, it would be nice. It is annoying.
They normally update their RAW codec like with OS update. So every now and then. Yeah,
because the same with the ZF, you don't see the thumbnails there either, which is a little bit frustrating. So I'm with you on that. But the good news is that the ZF RAW files are openable in Adobe. So Adobe Camera Raw is up to date, which is nice.
Yeah.
It's just the Apple iOS, as you said, you can't see your thumbnails. It's a little bit annoying.
Yeah, and I mean, those sensors, that's a standard Bayer process. So technically, they don't do much demosaicing at this stage. You know, it's not like whatever the sensors they use on Fujifilm XF system. You know, so yeah, it's matter of just a simple update mainly.
Yeah. Now, David said I did my first real event with the ZF yesterday and hit rate was great. It was the Day of the Dead event in Mission District in San Francisco.
Nice.
He said, sadly, this might be the camera that makes me shoot less film. And that's an interesting thought, actually, because if you're shooting film because you like the feel of a film camera, but not necessarily just because of the resulting.
If you don't want to feel the pain of shooting film and processing it, you know.
It is painful sometimes.
But it's enjoyable pain.
It is. It's good pain. But like if you don't want the expense of that, then shooting film and getting that tactile feel down and everything. Oh, we haven't said thank you to Martin. Yes. My goodness, thanks so much. Thank you so much, Martin. Martin said, I'm not shooting 120 anymore. Can you make use of this? Yes, we can.
My mission in life is to convince everyone to shoot medium format. I've chosen. I'm gonna carry this cross. You know.
I've got quite a nice selection now of medium format. Shots that I'm really proud of.
I thought you would say cameras, and I just want to say you just need one really. But,
cameras. I've got a nice collection of. I do have too many medium format cameras now, but also just shots, and each one does a different thing for me. That's the thing.
That's right.
Each camera does a different thing.
And I don't know if you heard, but Lomography announced a price reduction on the medium format film. For now, I think it's up to 30%.
Wow.
So just to encourage people to shoot medium format.
Yeah.
Yes, it's less pictures, but actually, I love it very much because 36 frames on a 35mm camera sometimes, for me, takes ages to finish.
Me too.
I do enjoy 10 shots on my Mia.
Yeah. It's wild, actually, that 36 shots can be too much. We knew we were going to get this chat down to talking about film.
It's always about film.
Thank you very much to John from Connecticut, who said,
John.
Love this freestyle shop chat. Learn a lot from you and the chatters. Had a wonderful few days shooting autumn colours with my ZF and F2AS side by side. Yummy. Thoughtful, careful, intense thinking about the basics. My Z9 is lonely. And that's so interesting. So John, what film stock did you put in your F2AS? Because that is the question. The ZF, I think we should revisit our film simulations video.
Yes, I think so.
On the ZF. I think we should do that. There's a lot of things that we've got planned around this one. We'd like to do a whole number on the Fuchtlander lenses, on, Nikon's, maybe like their iconic lenses that people still opt for in this day and
Yes,
age.
like the top choices of, let's say, Nikon manual focus glass or something like this. But just want to say that your German is very good.
Thank you. Because we both did German at school, didn't you?
That's right.
I did German at school as well, yeah. I didn't want to learn French. Apologies to anyone who was doing French. The French class was packed.
Yeah.
And I did not want to sit in a room with like 25 other people. Yeah. So the German class only had 4 students in it, and I was one of them. And it was brilliant. And I was very fond of my German teacher. She was very sweet.
I have very completely opposite experience. Basically, my teacher made sure that I will forget German the moment I finish the class and never come back to it. So which is a shame, because it's something that I would want to, I can say my name in German, it's still Konstantin, but
that's good. Mine is Rebecca. Because you have to go
Ich heiße Konstantin. Die Bundesrepublik Deutschland besteht auf 16 Bundesländer. Das sind. It translates to Germany consists of 16 regions, and then you translate all of them. I learned it by heart.
That's well done. Any German speakers, we apologize.
Right. I wish I would have a better teacher, honestly.
We apologize for this brief sort of complete butchery of your language.
But you know what?
Forgive us for
I love Berlin. Such a great place. Good coffee, amazing coffee.
That's very important.
For the Olympics in there, which is a big European film distributor, there's cool places there just overall, and very nice people. People speak English. It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's just, it's very, literally you go anywhere, everyone talks to you in English.
Yeah, they don't force you to speak German, although I'm sure that they've probably found it quite
you're not in
entertaining
France.
if you try, I will just quickly say, please do give the stream a like. Some of our lovely viewers are saying, please give the stream a like. Please do that. Just take a moment to hit the little thumbs up. It's very much appreciated. David took Spanish, which is good.
That helps.
You are basically native speaking.
I've read David's post on Instagram about his grandparents.
Yeah.
And that was really moving.
Yeah.
That was incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. If you don't follow, the handle is really easy to remember. It's the Drunk Wedding Photographer right there in our chat. Definitely check out. And also his blog and his website. Jan took Russian, oddly enough.
I'm, not jealous of that.
No, I think that'd be quite tough.
Yeah. But David, I'm not the one who is interacting on social media, but I always read everything.
Yeah.
I know what's been said, and I have a long book when I write names down. No, I'm kidding. Don't feel like Russian is going to be quite,
a popular language.
A popular language, yeah.
Probably not for a little while.
True.
Essential German, ordering a beer, I think, is probably essential German in Germany. We took on a little. I wanted to actually read the photography related.
I can order beer in Spanish as well.
That's good.
Very important.
Steve said, where is the best place to get my AIS lenses chipped for EXIF data in the ZF?
To you, Becky.
Well, now I don't know who chips them anymore, but because the company that I bought the chips from, and I did it myself, doesn't exist anymore. And it was a country in Singapore. So I'm not sure. Might be worth checking with someone like Sendine if they might do it for you if you brought the chip along to them. But
true.
But I'm not sure anymore. And we're going 10 years, I think, was when I did my lenses.
Yes.
So quite a long time ago. There was another question. Vinay wanted to know if there were any updates on the Sirui Sniper 1.2. Do you remember those?
Well, we talked about literally on a podcast last week. So they're supposed to be announced, I think. if I'm not mistaken. But yeah.
I don't know if there has been any official announcement, but anyway, hopefully soon.
And they're supposed to be autofocus, which is nice.
Yeah, that would be very cool. Terry said that Analog Wonderland processed an old color of mine recently. I'm now looking forward to using up my other old film stock.
I think they do everything. They
do
literally do any process you can imagine.
That's right. They just did a roll of E6 expired slide color film. It was Fujicolor. No, it was Provia 100, yeah. And it expired in 2005. I shot it at 25 ISO to be on the safe side. And actually, the results were surprisingly good considering how old that film is.
Absolutely. Great plays, great people. Talk to them.
Absolutely. They can develop anything. Sometimes the lead times on these more complicated film developing processes is a bit longer, but you just have to bear in mind that there's very few people who can do all the processes.
Well, that's the thing. And it's normal as well because, the volume is not there. And it's not exactly where you can put the film into the machine and it's processed for you. It's effectively a hand-made approach, and they similar like developing black and white film. And like E6, you know, those chemicals expire quite often, so you have to replenish them quite often, you know. Like ECN2 process now is becoming more popular as well. Black and white reversal, I think Analog Wonderland was the only company who was offering that in UK. Yeah. So.
And I think their kind of whole ethos is to try and develop everything, to find a way to develop everything. So I think they're pretty much there now. Kiyomi wants to know your opinion on aerochrome. Or our opinion? I don't know.
I haven't shot one.
I have no opinion. I'm sorry. I wish I did. Thank you to Terry for your contribution to the coffee fund for a packet of biscuits. I might need another coffee as my coffee order is wrong. Thank you, Terry. Appreciate that. And thank you to the YM Studio for your first ever super chat. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you very much.
Really appreciate it.
I mean, the problem with aerochrome as well, it's so expensive nowadays.
Yeah.
You know, and obviously...
What are we talking?
We're talking this, colours. The pinks and
like, is that someone selling a roll for £227?
Yeah, you can buy them still. Yeah, they will be expired as well.
Wow.
You know.
I mean, beautiful colours.
There's a way to achieve it. If you ever followed the channel called Grainy Days, his whole mission is to drink Mountain Dew every video until they bring aerochrome back. But he also looks at the possibility of like either achieving it in digital form or where you take 3 shots and combining them. So there's a way of doing it, but it's not straightforward. It's not the same as just having the film in your camera.
Sadly not.
Yeah.
Richard suggests, let's get film manufacturers to start producing 12 and 24 exposure films. There was someone who was doing 24, wasn't there?
Well, 24 is normal. I mean, you have Gold and Ultramax available in 24.
That's what I
You've
thought,
got HP5 available in 24. You know, Ilford makes a XP2 in 24. I think the problem with that is that your development cost is going to be the same. So at least it is for C41. So you know,
True.
so in a way, you know, you're going to pay the same as you would develop 36 rolls.
Yes.
That's the thing. But
which is a shame because, you know, if you had, let's say, 18, right? So half a 35 mil and then, a 36 roll, then, and it was half the cost to develop it, but it's not going to be that way, is it? Which is a shame. But otherwise it could work quite well.
My thinking is, unless we come to that point in life where you're going to have your local lab on every corner, what we used to have back in the day, which is quite far away. Let's say, you know, film is not that popular as we think it is. You know? In a you know, film community space, in the microbubble, you know, definitely it's getting bigger every year, but it's not anywhere near where it was in, let's say, 90s, you know, or 80s. So, but if we have, let's say, labs on every corner, you know, where you can just go and develop, you and come back, have a coffee, come back, your film is ready, then I think we would have definitely, you know, like maybe 10 roll films or 12 roll, you know, 12 images films, you know, et cetera, you know. So at the moment, it's in a way, it's a process because, again, if you don't have your local lab where you live, then you probably film, then you're going to send them off together because you have to pay your postage. You know, you have to pay postage back, etc. So, but hopefully, as a medium, you know, it will get bigger and bigger. I mean, you know, if you look at analog, you know, film manufacturing as well. Let's say another obviously clear example is vinyl. You know, it's expanding. How far it's going to go? It's a good question, but you will be surprised how many people are trying film, and it's not just young people.
No,
you know, so there is definitely something in there that makes people captivated and motivated to try it out.
That's exactly. And it is, I don't know, there's something quite magical about shooting film that we've said many times we can't really quantify. I have an old roll. Peter says, hello, Peter, who's in South Africa.
Hello.
Hi. Said, give me Kodachrome 64 and or 25. So I
also discontinued both of them.
I know. I have a roll in the fridge of Kodachrome.
Can you still develop those?
I don't know. I don't want to shoot it because I don't know what to do with it.
I don't think it's C41. I could be wrong on that
I don't think it is. No, I don't think it is. And I think, because I remember, I even got it out of the fridge at one point. I was like, should I shoot this just to see what happens? I was like, I think it's just nicer where it is. Just leave it there. If someone tells me what you can do with an expired roll of Kodachrome that expired in 1991 or something, it's almost as old as me, that roll of film.
That's right. And also bring back retro packaging.
Yeah, retro packaging is beautiful.
Amazing.
Yeah, we don't want any of the modern nonsense.
I mean, look at this blonde Ultramax and gold designs.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
they're not inspirational.
Definitely not.
There was something great, as some of you will know, often sort of keep some of the old packaging and stuff from earlier days and bygone eras. And we have, old Kodak film canisters, the metal film canisters, and also the older Nikon boxes, which were beautifully designed. And, we have certain bits of memorabilia around the shop. So if you've been, you will have seen it. And there's definitely a kind of aesthetic to that era. Everything now, I feel, maybe this is a bit of a generality, but it feels like it's quite generic, even, dare I say it, the black boxes, the Z black boxes and the D780. And
yes, I agree.
They're all in black boxes now. How boring. It's like, why aren't they?
Bring the golden boxes back.
Bring the golden boxes back. Bring the beautiful ones that were designed by Kimakura with all the spots and lines and proper graphic design.
That's right. Everything becomes too utilitarian.
Yeah. Anyway, that's just my humble opinion.
Here we go. Back to digital.
Yeah. As they've said, Kodachrome definitely not C41. Absolutely cannot be developed anymore. No point in me shooting it. Put it back in the fridge, Becky, and stop dreaming. That's what they've said.
Lost process. That's the thing. There's a lot of things like this where, you can see people posting on Reddit, like, I found this roll. What do I do with it? And I say, well, you can't really do much.
Can't do anything.
Yeah.
Nothing.
The chemicals are no longer made.
David said I should auction it off. Maybe I will do that. Maybe some collector would like it for their weird collection. Okay. So EC asks, has anyone in the chat managed to get one of the color ZF bodies directly from Nikon? It seems like the black ones are out in the wild, but haven't seen anyone other than reviewers with a color body. I know that there are at least 2 people in this chat in the USA who have received their color ZFs because they both sent me emails to say, just received my color one and it's out there. I personally, because I'm special, I also ordered a color one and I decided to get a special color and just whatever. We'll be able to tell the difference between our cameras when we're out on a shoot. That's what I keep telling myself. It hasn't arrived. It's not shipping anytime soon. I don't know when it's coming.
You were told about 4 weeks delay at least.
I was told 4 weeks, and that was nearly 2 weeks ago. So I'm hoping within the next 2 weeks it will turn up, because I've got so many great ideas for shoots that we want to do around the ZF.
Definitely.
But we're always open to suggestions. So if there's anything you want us to film, and obviously we're not talking silly things, like sometimes we ask, what lens would you like to compare this lens with? And it's something obscure that no one else is going to probably find useful except maybe one person on the internet. So bearing in mind that this channel is for everyone, let us know what you would like us to do. Roy says the ZF colored bodies are available in Australia. Drew says, are you just going to get Seth in, or is Joe coming? No, they're both coming. Both Joe McNally and Seth Miranda will be here. We will be hiding them away. And
if you haven't seen our previous interviews with Joe McNally, definitely check out our channel. I think we have at least one, but I think there could be 2.
We've actually got...
the one from last year for sure.
Yeah, and then I think we had a live stream with him as well last year.
Oh, yes. So we have interviewed from in person 2 years ago and the live stream last year.
That's correct.
Still from London. And obviously we had live streams with Seth as well. So check those out.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to have both legends here in a few weeks to do won't be a live stream because it's on the wrong day of the week, but we will be doing a sort of interview style thing with them, which we're really looking forward to. It's going to be fun. Yeah. But in the meantime, if there are any things that you particularly want us, we're thinking ZF with Nikon vintage lenses, ZF with Voigtlander lenses.
Yeah.
ZF with picture profiles.
Yes.
Obviously, we've got our overall review, which should be out soon-ish.
Yeah. Would you like us to do a video on how we set up our camera? You know,
Yes.
so let's say,
We've kind of told
steak
you.
and con steak.
We've kind of told you now.
We can do that as well.
Juliet would like to see some birding on the ZF, large birding, obviously with the grip. Yeah, I think you'd need the grip to take the long lenses. When we get the 600 to try out, which hopefully will be in the next few weeks, we will definitely do that. Also 150 to 500 Sigma. Tamron,
yeah. We're getting one.
So getting one.
Yeah.
So we will be doing something with that. We'll put it on the ZF. We'll probably also put it on the Z8 or something.
Like for me personally, I don't know. Yeah, I feel like if you do use long lenses, get a different camera. It's just it's not designed for this type of work. Obviously, you can do that if you want to, and I totally agree because obviously Z8 is expensive.
Yes.
This is cheaper, and there's nothing else.
Half the price.
Exactly, and there's nothing else modern that will give you that technology under this price.
No.
I also understand this as well. Yeah.
Yes. And I mean, sorry, I have to read this. Matt said should have gone for one of the Terry's Chocolate Orange Edition ZFs, which is the orange one. Absolutely, Terry.
Matt Erwin has orange one, right?
I think he does.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went for the Terry's Chocolate Orange packaging, which is the blue box. I went for the blue one. It looks really nice in the pictures. I hope it looks really nice in person as well.
My wife wasn't impressed with ZF.
She wasn't?
I said I've upgraded the camera. She's like, but
it doesn't look more upgraded because it doesn't look more.
It's look retro, and she normally likes retro cameras. But
she wasn't having it.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
It's staying anyway.
I don't even bother to I don't even bother with Dan. I'm just like, forget it.
No, we're sharing I'm getting a new camera. I'm grading from my Z6 finally,
Yeah.
She's like, I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm happy you're happy,
And then she saw it and she was like, it's not very
you upgrade to this. Where the film goes,
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Colin says ZF face and eye tracking on manual lenses is awesome. We're going to also hook up the Atomos so that you can see how that works. So we'll have footage of that, which would be very cool.
I just want to add that we now have family counseling because...
because you upgraded and she didn't like it.
Exactly.
Oh, dear. It's a little bit like when... Anyway, when I'm forced to watch trailers for new games that don't interest me. It's like, this character's coming to Blah. I'm like, excellent.
Another Mortal Kombat character.
Yeah. Literally that. Some of them do interest me though. Anyway, so
apparently they had a Halloween fatality that you would have paid $10 for.
I didn't understand.
Ridiculous.
Absolutely. For all our one other person that games in this chat, hope you enjoyed that little segue there. Mike says, is the ZF body with the more mechanical bits more suited for older Nikon lens usage? Possibly there is more older gear out there still than Z gear now, roll on a screwdriver adapter. I mean, wouldn't it be wonderful if we had an adapter that autofocused with those older lenses? Absolutely.
Yeah, I think the point being is, the price. I think we've discussed that in the past, but the price is the big one. Technically, DF is still a very capable camera, and it will drive the old AF and AFD type lenses. Because it's a native DSLR effectively. But I think coming from this camera as well for the older glass in general, I think 24 megapixel is kind of a good solution for older glass. Because as we discussed in the past, once you go kind of 30 plus megapixels, some older lenses are just starting to break apart, wide open generally. So when you stop them down, it's not an issue, but it's where you shoot wide open, you may find that some of them are still good and some of them will give you certain fringing artifacts, etc., or overall glowiness or softness.
Yeah, and it's an interesting comment that a few people have made that their manual focus lenses perform really well on the ZF, as though there is some kind of magical something. We've done a few things where, we adapted some of our older lenses onto the Z6 and it was a bit like, it's okay. It's not standout. I wouldn't use it day to day. And then even you said that some of your lenses on the ZF look magical.
Voigtlander Leica mount 51.5 I have on Z6. I don't know what the colors were wrong. It wasn't great at all. And then I was testing it over the weekend on this camera, and it for somehow it performs better. like you would think it's kind of 24 megapixel sensor, but yeah, I don't know what's the problem was.
Yeah.
You know, but it definitely performs better on this camera.
Strange, isn't it? Kiyomi wants to know what your favorite 645 medium format camera is. I know which one it is.
Well, I at the moment, actually, the only one I have is Bronica 645. But my first and kind of the one that I have a sweet spot for is the one you have, which is Mamiya 1000S. That was the first medium format camera I've ever tried. And it was a loan from my friend. And I did a kind of a fashion shoot in New York back in the day. So it was like 17, 18 years ago.
Wow.
Something like that. Yeah.
It's a nice camera. I've only shot with that one, so I don't have an opinion on the others. I mean, I have other medium format cameras that are not 645. Very much, I mean, Mamiya 7's a great camera. I know that's your all-time fave.
I feel like if once you go to, 6.7 format, then it's just another level from 35 mil, so.
I suppose it's when you want that in between. You don't want 36 shots and you don't want it to be this big.
So you get 16
want
shots.
16 shots, a bit bigger. I do like the necks that come out of that.
But I have to give more time to Pentax 6.7. But for me, that would be a portrait type of shooting, where I want to use SLR design effectively to do this. But I also have RZ 6.7. But it's more of a studio kind of camera, So it's an interesting one. But yeah, I have 105. Was it 105-2.5, right?
Yes.
The classic lens.
Beautiful lens.
Need to shoot a lot more with it. So, but overall, like my to-go camera just for travel is my Mamiya 7. Just beautiful.
Picking up all of the cameras. So I've got a Pentax 6.7 as well. As Juliet said, it's a beast. So. It's not the kind of camera you take unless you're specifically going out to take photos. There's actually a fantastic photographer who's on Instagram who uses his Pentax 6.7, and he holds it one-handed while filming the top. He uses a waist level finder. I need to get myself a waist level finder for it because I think that would be additionally magical.
It's good for the gram.
He's great for the gram.
Everyone does
very
that
useful.
On the gram,
and he does that, and obviously he shares the resulting shots, and they're always beautiful and amazing. And I don't know how he manages to take his pictures one-handed. I've even had a chat with him about it. I think his name is Ben OBJ or something like that.
I can imagine that his one hand is like twice the size of the other hand because
really
that one hand.
It's tough, and I took off the wooden handle to lighten the load a little bit. But actually, I might put it back on because I think it gives you a bit more balance.
But you know what I also like about 6x7 format is the ratio itself. It's just, it's more square.
Yeah.
And I just love this ratio. Just from framing perspective, it's incredible. I know some of my most favorite shots that I've taken with any camera was on my Mamiya 7, basically. Yeah.
Arnold says, I'm thinking of getting either Z1728 or 2875, or go prime with the 50-1.8 for low light. Already have the 24-120 f4. What are your thoughts?
It's a lot of choices there. They're very different.
If you've got the 24-120, then I wouldn't necessarily, my thought wouldn't go straight to a 2875 2.8.
One stop of the aperture though.
I know.
Yeah.
But just if you need something a little bit different, then 1728 gives you that wide angle. However, I think 50-1.8 and 24-120 are a really nice combination.
Yeah.
A prime complementing your zoom. That makes sense to me. But it is tough just in terms of choice. I mean, Arnold says I can get any of them used for about the same price. That's really good.
I would say really kind of lay out a list of pros and cons, and then it should probably get you an idea which particular lens, because you're also throwing prime lens in there. Would you be happy with the prime? Obviously 50 doesn't go to 17, or to 120. So you have to physically, by moving forward and backwards to, frame the subject, etc. So there's so many choices, but if you have to choose one, definitely make a list of pros and cons for each lens, and then hopefully it will give you an answer. Be
very logical about it.
Exactly.
I am still sort of struggling to narrow down what lens is going to be my go-to lens on the ZF, because I've already got 40 mils on a lot of my other cameras. So
that's true.
And 28s, ironically. I've got multiple 28s and multiple, actually.
I like how I convinced you to 40 mil.
So outrageous.
I remember you were a 35 person.
I was a 35 person through and through. If they had a pancake 35, I think I would have gone for that. But the 40 f2 is such a great lens.
Well, my question is to camera manufacturers,
Yes.
like Nikon and Voigtlander, is why Leica mount lenses are so small. Obviously, there's no autofocus. That's right. But why can't we design something like this for this type of camera? Because technically, the distance between the sensor and the lens is going to be the same as on Leica. So we can have compact lenses.
Yeah.
You know, for example, Voigtlander 35 1.4, 40 1.4 is very small and compact. They just released 28 f2.8 lens, I think.
Yeah.
You know, which is also compact. So I think we need to see more lenses like this, either from Nikon or Voigtlander. And I understand that autofocus will add a little bit bulk to the lenses, but it just, let's say, something like this, for me, already becoming a little bit too big for camera like DF. I mean, for daily use, you know.
ZF.
ZF, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And my 35 1.8 that I have is the same size as that 50, and it's too big for the ZF.
Exactly.
It's almost too big as a 35.
That's the thing.
In my humble opinion.
So the real 35 1.4, which is much smaller, you know, we obviously the optics are going to take a hit a little bit. It's not going to be as good as the proper size lens. But I think we still need to have that line of lenses, in my opinion, just because we now open this Pandora box of the retro cameras. So we need to have kind of set of lenses to go with it, because people who bought this camera, they all spend money on these lenses.
That's right. We want something that's in keeping with the purpose that's going to serve. Obviously, if you're going to do professional photography, then you're going to pick your pro lenses to go with that.
Exactly.
Juliet, I asked a question. I think we may have answered it in our little chat. She said, for street photography, would you go 51.8 or adapted glass and go manual, or 28 special edition? And I think for street photography, my recommendation would be the 28.
Yeah.
Just for the form factor of it. That size of lens on that camera is so lovely. And that, as you can see right here on the Z8, that is the 51.8. It's not small. It's not heavy. The camera's heavy. Yeah.
But it makes you a little bit more obvious to the people you shoot, you know, and obviously the whole point of there are different approaches for street photography, but if you want to capture the moment, you know, then you want to be maybe as discreet as possible. But obviously there's different type of photography where you approach people and you take shots of them as well. Then maybe 51.8 is actually a better choice if you do a street photography portraiture.
Yeah.
Type of things, and this kind of type of street photography kind of developed maybe through the socials, but it's been, you know, you can, like, in the last 2-3 years you can see a lot of it.
Yes. You know? Yeah, you really can.
Not my favorite type, let's say, you know, but kind of old school 28 mil, you know, everything.
The 28 2.8, I have no complaints about the Nikon version of that. I like it very much.
Gary Vinograd all the way.
That's right. Koyomi asked, other than a Rolleiflex, what would be your favorite TLR? So I have a Mamiya C330 S, which I like very much. It's very heavy. Is it 220 is the small version?
It's about the same. I mean, they're quite big.
But it's a bit lighter. Yeah. It's a little bit lighter.
I might get my hands on Rolleiflex in a couple of weeks.
How exciting.
Like, it was in the works, you knew about that, so I might get my hands on it.
Would be very nice.
Never tried one.
No, have you used a TLR before? I can't remember.
No.
No, okay.
Well, I mean, I've tried it. Like, you know, some had, I think, 220. Yeah, so I tried that.
Right. Okay.
But it's a way slower shooting, basically. Yeah.
Exactly. I quite like it. It's difficult to sort of make sure that you're all straightened and lined up, and it's very much a take your time process when you're shooting waist level with the TLR. But I do enjoy the process very much. Steve wants to know, for street photography, what style of strap do you recommend? Do you have a preference?
I have a wrist strap.
You go wrist strap.
Always wrist strap for me personally.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I just find those things too bulky when you need to lift like this. I normally hold my camera in hand and I just go.
Yeah, and you go for a sort of neoprene style one, right?
Neoprene. Well, on the Leica I have just a kind of thin leather one. But for this one I went for neoprene because it's a little bit heavier. So, you know, yeah. Marvelous.
Okay. James has a cute setup. He said, my mini setup, D780 with an AI 28-50.
Nice.
That's a great little lens, actually. And that sensor on the D780 is pretty magical as well. So really nice combination.
The thing is about manual focus Nikon zoom lenses, they're quite underrated by the community and they're actually really good. So if you want to have a bargain, then get a zoom manual focus lens instead, because prime lenses, they tend to be a little bit more expensive.
Yeah, I'm looking at a little sort of short 24 to 50 manual focus AIS.
What they have there as well, 43 to 86, something like that.
Yeah, 43 to 86 I wasn't such a fan of because it's not quite wide enough for me, but
I agree.
It's an interesting one. I actually used that on the DF when I was reviewing that back in the day. Back in the day. Anyway, we've waffled on for a whole hour. Thank you for bearing with us here and joining in on the conversation. We hope you will have a wonderful weekend. Take lots of pictures. I hope you don't get rained on or blown away, depending on what the weather is doing in your area. We will probably announce our Royal Blue Friday sales next week. I know some companies are doing it very early. I think we're going to do next week.
Yeah, and the next one starts in January.
That's right. Yeah. A whole, 11 months ahead of time. But have a great weekend all. Thank you very much for all your comments, Coffee Fund contributions. We'll see you next week.
Have a great